Well, hello there everybody. It is a little bit of a festivity mood here right now because 2 days ago I passed the magic number of 400 subscribers. It feels a little bit unreal that 400 persons have actually subscribed to my channel and to because they're interested in me showing records, showing when I walk around in Swedish cities, nature videos, or flipping through records in record bins, or other crazy stuff, questions, contests, responses, and so on. So, but it's taken a bit long. 2 years it took me to get from 3 to 400. So I expect somewhere down 2023 I will pass 500. But I want to thank each and every one of you 400 that have subscribed. I think it is 402 or 3 right now also. So thank you each and every one of you who have subscribed and who wants to see me, who wants to see the videos, who comments and so on. Feels real good and a little bit unreal. But I'm going to celebrate with doing a vinyl and CD update, or in this case maybe just vinyl, because I only bought vinyls. I have a whole stack of vinyls, full-length vinyls, because I struck gold yesterday. But we're starting with some singles, starting with this Bordeaux, One Step Further. Bordeaux was this group, this duo. They are famous for only one thing. They represented the United Kingdom in the Eurovision Song Contest back in 1982. Finished pretty good, if I'm not all that wrong. But it was really good to find this. Maybe a typical British little up-tempo Schlager style, but it's a catchy one. We had International Women's Day recently. I don't know if this one was suitable then. Wild Women Do with Natalie Cole from the Pretty Woman movie. Here is a song that you can see on the writings that I bought it at Återbruket that I have shown before. But I felt like I gave a little listen on YouTube before I bought it on my telephone to check what it actually was. I heard of Jimmy Castor. What I heard wasn't that much interesting, but this one sounds very interesting. It is E-Man Groovin' with Jimmy Castor Bunch from 1976, and we have Super Love at the B-side. The interesting thing about this one is that for those of you who are into kind of a little big beat and kind of more modern dance music, have heard the song Theme from Gutbuster by British group Bentley's Real Maze. This is a song that they have based their song on. And I love that song actually. So it was really fun to have the original. And I also found this that I had no idea what it was, but it sounded really good, funky and with horns and everything. So I thought definitely why not. Guitar Talk with Aquarian Dream, released on Buddha. And we have Look Ahead at the B-side. So those were the singles. Now let's get to vinyls, starting with these first. I think it was a couple of weeks ago I had the chance to finally visit one of these smaller, a new smaller little flea market, private flea market that someone had put up. In these days I haven't seen many of those. And I have, thanks to you know what, I have been merely stuck on the same 4 places here in the city. not unsuccessfully, I might add, but still, it is fun. I miss those when you can go to those little small private flea markets and flip some records and just have a good time. And I had a chance to do it in a little private flea market, and they had records, yes. Some of them I recognized that they had actually bought from Vinylstallet, but there were some that I haven't seen before. As this, Nick Haywood, the former singer of the band Haircut 100, and the band I Love You Avenue from 1988. I listened to Quick Peaks and didn't sound all that bad actually. It was pretty good. Sounded very much 80s British pop style and really nice melodies. So this one I'm going to enjoy listening to. Always enjoy finding great British pop, pure pop from the 80s. And I found this, Gilbert O'Sullivan with Southpaw. What's fun about this is that Gilbert O'Sullivan, most of his records you can find in any dollar bin in the flea markets here in Sundsvall, himself and so on. But this one I have never seen in any flea market, so it was fun actually to find a Gilbert O'Sullivan that I haven't seen before. This one, Southpaw, is from 1977. I listened to this one and it is actually pretty good. It's a little bit more guitars than I actually thought it would be. But it's actually really good and great melodies, as it used to be when it comes to Gilbert O'Sullivan. So this will definitely stay in the collection. These two I've shown on the live stream for those of you who have been seeing me there, but for those who haven't seen me there, I found Blondie with Hunter from 1982, I think. Yes, 82. Debbie Harry, or Harry Debbie. This is actually the final Blondie until now that I have complete, from the first to their first breakup back in after this. Then of course they have been coming back and doing later stuff on CDs that I'm still missing, but during their most famous era, from the beginning to their first breakup, I have complete now. So I haven't listened to it yet though. This one I listened to though. This is Elton John from 1981, I think. Yes, one. Elton John and the Fox. I heard several say that this is definitely not Elton John's best album, and I tend to agree with that. It isn't his best, but it's not as bad as they say. Definitely, it has some definitely weak moments, and the instrumental parts here, it sounds. It's not often I use the word dated, but here it actually fits well. But it also has some really great songs here. And singles are actually really good, even though it isn't much of a hit album as the others actually are. So the songs may not be his most famous and most recognized songs, but it is actually pretty okay. He has done worse albums actually, so it will stay in the collection, even though he has done better, but he's also done worse. Now, coming to these I can take first. I found this yesterday, Pete Shelley and Homo Sapien from 1981. Synth pop style, me like. And I found this, Al Stewart. Why do many artists have to name their album in something that is hard to pronounce? 24 carats, Paris carats. It's Al Stewart anyway, from 1980. It's going to be very interesting. I only have Year of the Cat before that album. And that one was really good, so really it's going to be interesting listening to this one. Now, these 10. are all jazz. I struck gold yesterday when I found 10 jazz albums, 50 cents each, and they were in really good quality. So let's start with this. This is Duke Ellington and Johnny Hodges back to back play the blues, and it is a whole lot of jazz blues songs that are familiar here. Warwash Blues, Basin Street Blues, Weary Blues, St. Louis Blues, Royal Garden Blues, and only one song here that actually doesn't end with the word blues. So it's very, very interesting, and it's also not the entire orchestra. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 septet that plays here, which is all that ordinary when it comes to Duke Ellington. So this one is going to be very, very interesting. Released on Verve. And moving on, I found also a Ben Webster, released also on I was going to say Verve, but it is on Metro Records. I think it is some kind of a Verve sub-label, Metro Records. This is Ben Webster from with recordings from mostly 50s, but it also contains something that I had no idea. Ben Webster Orchestra with Art Farmer. So it is Ben Webster doing a little bebop style that I never have heard actually. So this one will be very interesting. Otherwise, you can see Harry Edison, Ray Elvis, Benny Carter, Coleman Hawkins. Hard to resist. Modern Jazz Quartet, set on James, released on Atlantic's That Jazz series. This is originally written by John Lewis for the movie No Sun in Venice, and originally it was released as the album title The Modern Jazz Quartet Plays No Sun in Venice. So it's a reissue of some kind, but recorded back in 1958. Very, very interesting. We have on Mercury's Jazz Master series Coleman Hawkins and the Trumpet Kings. Couldn't they have done a little more fun looking cover sleeves? Looks pretty boring, but it looks almost like an inner sleeve. But this one is very interesting. I have a lot of Coleman Hawkins, including the 10 CD box in the back, but I'm taking chances still. It is recordings from the 40s with a whole lot of settings that I don't think I have all that much with, including Charlie Shaver's All American 5. So this one will be very, very interesting. Count Basie's Top Stars, and you see the names. This is not a Count Basie orchestra. It is a septet, also an octet, also here. And I had actually never heard Count Basie in an octet. No, Count Basie himself isn't here. It is Count Basie's musicians only. It's a septet, but still, I never heard these these recordings. It'd be very, very interesting. It's Joe Newman and Frank Foster and a whole lot of familiar Count Basie names here. I was hesitating a little bit when it comes to this, because it's released on a label that I'm not all that happy with, Jazz Tone, which is sub-label to this. They release a classical music normally. I don't like the sound normally on Jazz Tone, but I felt like this actually, with the setting and the musicians here, I actually couldn't resist. I had to have it. Nat King Cole Trio, Giants of Jazz release. Normally, Nat King Cole Trio, I have a lot of those. Normally, I don't think that it will be that interesting. I have a lot of Nat King Cole that where he sings, but with a trio. And if I'm going to buy Nat King Cole, it's going to be where he plays the piano in a trio or something like that. I'm not interested in when he became an entertainment singer, and he has a great voice, no doubt. But I'm not all that interested in what he is most famous for. And I have so much with him where he plays and sings in trio. But it contains something that a whole side almost with something that I don't have all that much with. And that is Nat King Cole's in trio where he doesn't sing. Because here is a piano vocal, but here on the piano. So to this side most likely is where he only the trio instrumental parts with the trio. And that I don't have much at all with. So only for that it was very interesting to have this one. Two Benny Goodmans actually, and normally I a little bit careful with Benny Goodman nowadays if it isn't live or something odd releases, and this falls on the second category. I feel like I have so much Benny Goodman, it's hard to keep up with what I have. So this is doesn't look all that ordinary. The Swing Classics 1 released on Philips, but this is Benny Goodman octet actually, and I have never heard Benny Goodman in an octet. So containing also Teddy Wilson and a whole lot of famous Milt Hinton, Ruby Braff, and so on. And this is volume 1, and this is volume 2 with the same setting. So this is going to be interesting. Teddy Wilson octet, which is very unusual. What I'm a little missing is when it is actually recorded. It doesn't say anywhere. But I guess I can Google on that. More Duke Ellington, the great Duke Ellington, released on Musidiscs. And a French release. It does look like an ordinary compilation actually, but it doesn't contain any of his normal classics. No Satin Doll, no Take the A Train, and so on. Even though it's released back in 1946, so it was just songs that I have never heard of. So only that was worth buying this actually. And finally, a Coleman Hawkins. And as I said before, hard to know what Coleman Hawkins that isn't on this 10 CD box set. Especially if this is called a jazz autobiography with recordings from his career. But I took a chance because I love Coleman Hawkins playing the saxophone. So it is from the more famous Body and Soul, and it is recordings from the early 20s, some that I don't remember was on this box set, and all the way to his attempt to play bebop with Fats Navarro and J.J. Johnson. So I still think it will be a really nice album. If not, it is a very interesting setup to go from the 20s all the way to the 40s. So it's going to be very, very interesting still. So my lucky star shine over me yesterday. So once again, let me thank you 400 that have subscribed to my channel and made this moment actually what it is, that I have 400 subscribers now to make my channel, storming ahead towards 500. So with that, I hope that every one of you have a real nice time, no matter if you are having sun and the birds are singing, or if you have, like me, it's gray and a lot of snow on the ground. So take care and